Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm Canon EOS photographer, RandallMRueff. Today is Sunday, March 20th, 2016 AD. It's 4:07 in the AM. And I'm making another video about the Canon EOS 1DX Mark II. I'm trying to figure out, come up with a way to get the money, raise the money, have somebody give me the money, have people give me the money, fundraise the money, get some camera equipment, via somebody that has money. Whatever is legal and moral to do, I'm trying to do it. And I'm making a video about the camera once again in that effort and in that vein. And what I've done is gone through the video that Canon has, the introduction video. It's about 2 minutes in length, leave or take. And they go over some of the stuff, and I thought I would go over some of that stuff. And I took frame grabs from the video via Command Shift 3 while the video was playing. And I thought I would show them to you and talk about them. And thus, another video would be made. I'm hoping they go in order. We shall see. But apparently not. Okay, well, that won't work. So let's start over here then. One room to tame. Okay, this might be what I'm looking for. Okay, so we start off with a really cool graphic of the EOS 1DX Mark II. Go back, stop, no, moving forward. The EOS 1DX Mark II DSLR camera logo, quote, the mark of legends, which is kind of cool. Then you get a picture of the camera, several pictures of the camera from the back, the fact that it's Mark II, another good clear picture of the camera with a lens, it's the 24-70 lens from the front, the X, it's the EOS 1DX Mark II with the blue flame, really cool. Okay, so that passes by pretty quickly. So next we have another picture of the camera, very cool. Another picture of the camera with the lens, with the back showing the LCD display. Here's starting to show kind of a see-through so you can kind of get an idea of what's inside the camera. Okay, let's talk about some of the meat to the substance of this video. And that is a 20.2 megapixel effective pixels CMOS sensor. So you've got 20.2, which is a big jump up from my Canon digital XT, which has 8.0. So this would, for me, would be a big jump. Plus the fact it does video. Plus it has dual pixel CMOS autofocus, which is cool too. So you got, not only do you have 20 megapixels, you've got dual pixel CMOS autofocus. So, of course, you got dual digit 6, so there's 2 processors for doing what you need to do. This is what makes the camera relatively pretty fast. You have an ISO of 51,200, which is for still is pretty good. Of course, you have some expanded ISOs past that, but most people aren't going to use that. It's not very good quality. So unless you're really doing some high-tech surveillance or police work or military work, you're probably not going to use the expandable ISOs. Okay. Okay, so next we have high-speed continuous shooting of 14 frames per second, which is very nice. Whoa. I hate when it does that. 14 frames per second, or 16 frames per second with a mirror locked up, which I would probably never use. I'd still stick with 14. That's pretty fast. That's a lot of image capture if you really think about it. It says, oh, it does have a little thing at the bottom. It says continuous shooting speed may vary according to the aperture, lenses being used, and the conditions of the subject. So, and here's a picture of some woman dancing in a red outfit with the camera. Here's where it talks about the live view shooting of 15 frames per second, approximately. And again, it says here at the bottom, the maximum continuous shooting speed may be slower due to shooting function speed, etc. So there are some conditions that could slow it down a little bit. Okay, EOS ITR autofocus. Now, I don't know what EOS ITR with the asterisk autofocus, approximately 360,000 pixels RGB plus IR sensor. This is about the metering or the how it reads the sensor information. Oh, it says right here, EOS ITR, intelligent tracking and recognition. So it has intelligent tracking and recognition. Like, for example, you want to use face recognition, or you want to track a subject and you want to autofocus on that subject. Boom, ITR, intelligent tracking and recognition. That's something we do every day. Now I know, intelligent tracking and recognition. 61 auto points, or autofocus points. But it does say down here the number of focusing points, cross-type focusing points, and dual cross-type autofocus points vary depending on the lens used. That doesn't make sense to me, but that's what they're saying. The high-density reticle autofocus 2. But basically, you have 61 autofocus points. 100% viewfinder coverage, so what you see in the viewfinder should be what you get. 100%. Approximately. Although it doesn't say exactly, it says approximately. So approximately 100% of what you see is what should be what you get. Autofocus low light limit of 3 of EV-3, which doesn't tell me a whole lot. To be honest. With center f2.8 autofocus point. I don't even know what that means, to be honest. I just know the camera's very good in the light. That's all I need to worry about. Next we have a RAW plus JPEG camera digital lens optimizer, which is cool. Don't know what that means, but it's good. It has it. This is what we've been waiting for a long time. Built-in GPS. They did it real smart. They put in some kind of chip and sensor the top of the camera. I imagine they probably made this part of the camera a little bit thinner than the rest of the material that protects the camera. I could be wrong, but I'm willing to bet it's a little bit thinner than it is the rest of the camera. The rest of the camera probably thicker material. The reason I say that is because one of the issues they said they had before was the fact that to get a GPS signal through the problem was I couldn't get the GPS signal through the thickness of the material of the camera. So I'm willing to bet they had, in that area, they probably had to thin down the material, the wall thickness. I could be wrong, but I'm willing to bet that's what is happening. Either way, it's built in, and it's great. You don't have to put that little thing on the side anymore. It's built in. Kudos, congratulations to Canon. This is what we all wanted. You guys are listening. I know I make videos about how GPS should be built in, and I don't know if they're listening to my videos, but they're listening to somebody's getting through to them, so that's good. Let's see. In certain countries and regions, the use of GPS may be restricted. Therefore, be sure to use GPS in accordance with the laws and regulations of your country or region. Be particularly careful when traveling outside your home country, as a signal is received from GPS Satellites take sufficient measures when using electric where the use of electronics is regulated as a signal is received from GPS. Satellites take sufficient measures when using in locations where the use of electronics is regulated. Well, anyway, there's that. I guess some places they don't like taking pictures where their GPS information is recorded. Why that would matter, I don't know. But why they would not want that, I don't know, unless they're doing something they shouldn't be doing. Have a neat little camera or stills to video switch. Here is a picture of a guy on a BMX bike, or not BMX, but a dirt bike, off-road. Demonstrating the fact that you can do 120p, 120 frames, or not 120p. Let me say that again. 1080p at 120 frames, 100 frames, or 60 or 30. But it can go up to 120 frames per second, is what they're trying to advertise. Which means you can get that slow-mo effect without using any kind of software. You can still get that in like iMovie or Final Cut Pro or whatever video editing software. Most video editing software gives you the ability to slow down or to speed up your video, so it's really not a big deal, but it's nice to be able to do it in camera and do it if you don't want to have to mess with it in a computer. Moving on. Okay, here's where it talks about the 4K video, which is what a lot of people are wanting nowadays. 4K and up to 60 frames. Cameras before been able to do 4K at 29 frames and 30 frames, but this one does 50 frames and 60 frames. 60 frames 4K is really cool. I mean, you can really tell it, at least in my opinion, at least from watching videos on YouTube, seeing the difference between 4K at 30 frames or 29 frames or whatever it is, and the difference between 29 and 30 frames a second or 60 frames is obvious. When you're seeing 60 frames per second, to me at least, it's obvious. And if you're going to do 4K, I would do it in 60 because to me it looks a whole lot better. Just the fact that you're doing it twice as many frames. Now, obviously, it's going to take up more space, but the results are, in my opinion, they're a lot better, in my opinion, at 60 frames. It's just personal opinion. But the fact that you can do 4K internally to the camera, very good. The fact that you can do it at 60 frames per second or 50 frames per second, there may be some other things you can do as well, but either way, 4K internally, pretty good. This is talking about the 4K frame grab. You can get an 8 megapixel picture from, if you record a video in 4K, you can scan through the video and find a frame you like, and save it as an 8 megapixel photo. So that's good. I've had cameras before in the past that can do that. Of course, this is going to be a lot better. Higher quality. Touchscreen, live view mode touchscreen. Very cool. So you can decide, one thing you can do is, focus on, you can touch somewhere and it'll help you focus in live view mode. Drip proof testing. They've tested the camera with drip proof testing to show that if you keep your camera wet, it's not going to kill it. Could you submerge the camera underwater and have it be okay? Probably not. But the fact that if you just get some rain on it, it's not going to kill it. Is my point. And of course, you always can buy underwater housing. But I mean, the idea is, no, you can't throw it in a pool and go underwater with it. But if you're just outside and it gets wet, it's not going to hurt the camera to get drip on or rained on. So, okay. Okay, in this picture they're showing the drip proof testing. They're showing kind of where the gasket sealings are, so you can see where it's normally the rain would get in, and how they've got gaskets to protect from the rain from getting into the inside where you don't want it. They've tested the buttons and stuff to make sure that they're reliable and durable and high quality. Shockproof testing. Make sure if you drop the camera within certain specifications, it should be okay. Again, don't worry when dropping your camera, but it's nice to know if you drop it within certain. It hasn't been tested for that. Here's a cool picture of the insides of the camera. I think the next iteration of technological evolution is going to be eliminating the DSLR, not the DSLR, but the SL, eliminating the SLR out of the DSLR, and in that mirrorless, what they refer to as mirrorless or sensor cameras are going to be the way. Instead of having that, they're still doing digital based on film cameras, where the image goes into the camera, hits the lens, goes up, does a kind of reflects on several mirrors, then goes to the viewfinder so you can see out, and then when you want to take a picture, the mirror flips down and the light goes through and hits the sensor. Well, I think personally that system is old, antiquated, and if you take everything the DSLR can do, get rid of that system, and replace it with what they're calling today. They're calling mirrorless. I don't like the word mirrorless, but I would call it a sensor camera. One, you're going to lose a lot of weight because you got a lot of excess stuff you don't need. Two, you're not going to have any shutter noise because there is no shutter if it's done right. And there's just a lot of things that would make it, makes it lighter. You can make it thinner, faster. You can make would require less power. I mean, there's just so many things about not having the SLR form factor in the DSLR. Again, eliminate the SLR from the DSLR and just have a digital camera, high-end digital. And say it would eliminate the shutter noise because there's no shutter. It would eliminate all the extra space that's required for the light to be transferred via several mirrors up to the viewfinder and the opening of a shutter. I mean, there's so many possibilities. If somebody will just do it, it would be great. They've done it in some pocket cameras and stuff like that, but I think it's time they do it in a high-end camera. And I think once they do it, they would never go back. But it's just a matter of getting somebody to, like Canon or Nikon or Sony, to actually make a high-end, professional end camera that doesn't have the SLR or the DSLR. And it's just a matter of time, I think. They'll get it eventually. It's frustrating they can't have it today. But nonetheless, this is a cool picture. Some cool pictures of the 1DX Mark II insides. Vibration testing. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Let's see what else we got. Vibration testing. Here's the camera in somebody's hands. It does look kind of cool there. And here's a woman in some kind of red robe. And it's basically just showing the quality of some of that stuff you can record. Here's a woman, a black woman, beautiful black woman. Maybe Asian, I don't know. Either way, she's very beautiful. But here she's she's doing some kind of dance. I don't know what the dance is, but it's some kind of dance. Basically, they're just showing some of the different kinds of stuff you can do. You know, you can do a woman dancing. And you can see how, notice how on this one you can see how her hair is flowing back behind her. And you can only do that with a real high shutter speed. And again, obviously, with a 1DX Mark II, you can obviously capture that image if that's what you're trying to capture. Of course, you can capture motorsports, like this guy riding this motorcycle low to the ground. Very good picture. Of course, it's good for wildlife with this bird. Sports with this guy running with, I think it's called a baton, but I wouldn't swear to what that's called, but it's in relay races where they have to pass it off to each other. But anyway, point is, it's going to be good for sports, fast action, capturing images where you want to stop the action. It's going to be good at. Let's see, got a few more here. Here's another example of when you're outside and you want to stop the motion. The guy's doing dirt bike tricks in the air off his motorcycle, off-road motorcycle. You can see how the focus is sharp and they've stopped the motion for the most part. Of course, it's good for things like food photography and still life and portraits. There's another good-looking woman. And of course, there's some animals and wildlife. That's a really cool picture of I think it's a white Bengal tiger. I'm not sure, but I think it's a Bengal tiger. Either way, you can see how it's sharp and clear. And of course, they end up with a picture of the Canon EOS 1DX Mark II by Canon. So, there you have it. The introductory of the Canon EOS 1DX Mark II. Let me say it again. 1DX Mark II. So, until next time, I'm Canon EOS photographer RandallMRueff. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. God bless you. Bye. Oh, yeah. No matter what kind of camera you have, keep taking those pictures.